Hello and welcome to Bendy, a podcast about being flexible in all of the ways that means. Thanks for joining us. Oh no. My name is Andy Young and I'm one of your dreamy, fantastical hosts. Joining me as always is our other dreamy and fantastical host, Beth Martin. Beth, a pleasure as always. What's the crack?
So for anyone who's actually been following along for the
Mhm.
last like 5 months, I'm so sorry, you guys. I finally went down to Tijuana and I got the stem cells
Mhm.
and I paid the money and I feel better.
Yeah,
So,
I was supposed to say this.
like,
The system works, but I guess the system doesn't work because you had to go to Mexico.
yeah, the
Your
system,
system
I
works
mean,
too.
the larger universal system, right?
Yeah,
That I think is in order, but just, once you throw humans and governments into it, then
yeah.
okay, so basically I walked across the border, I got a cab.
Uh-huh.
Uh it's weird going across the border. Like you've done that walk.
Yeah.
It's like so there's several like entrances to Tijuana.
Hmm.
So I went to it's called the San Ysidro one, which is probably but it's like your cell phone stops working,
Yeah.
like the radio goes off, and like it's just this weird, like deafening silence that's everywhere. Like you
Hmm.
feel like you're going somewhere different. And then you like crest over this hill, and like Tijuana's like right there with the arch and all the buildings,
Yeah.
and you know, so it's just a weird experience. And then you're like walking through, and there's like barbed wire and walls, and it's very welcoming on both sides. I'm being
Yeah.
facetious. So
I remember taking a picture of the gate and it is really intense. Like
it's
it really,
intense. You're
yeah, it is.
like, yeah. And like, there's definitely like military that like ride around to the back of like military vehicles, like standing up in the back. And,
Yeah,
I dig all that shit. I'm like, this is
yeah,
different. This is different. But I wasn't feeling well and I wasn't sure like because sometimes I get like really bad migraines. Anyway, so I get to the place. They're like, go up to the eighth floor. I go up to the eighth floor, and yeah, it's like a whole like it's just an IV. It's nothing, it's not like they're like taking because in the States you have to take out your own bone marrow. It's like a whole surgery. So it's nothing
jeez,
like that. Super easy, a lot of money. I don't want to think about that too much, but
no.
I do feel better already. It's
Yep,
weird, like I got an appetite already. My
it's huge.
eyesight has gotten better.
Hmm.
My hair grew 2 inches, not really, but it's going to. Like I could just feel it feels
It-
like okay. The only thing I can describe it as, like I know you've been to places where you stick your feet in the feeder fish and the
yeah.
fish like pick off the dead skin. That's what it feels like, but it's like your whole body. Like you feel
Ooh,
this rush of like
yeah. That's
seeking and destroying of dead cells and like replacing it with happy baby cells. So, anyways,
I love it.
I know.
It's very Star Trek. It's very kind of some
Hmm.
futuristic shit.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
awesome.
I'm happy to be here. Happy to be
And
here.
if stem cells want to sponsor the podcast,
That would be
please let us
amazing.
know.
That will never
That would
happen.
be great, honestly. Um,
But you know what's fucked up? Like I had a conversation with my regular doctor here in Cali, and I was like, I've been nauseous, and I was like, I need anti-nausea medication. And she was like, okay. She was like, I could get you into a long COVID clinic, but like they're shutting most of them down. And at this point, like you found your medicine. And I was
yeah,
like, I know, I just wish that stem cells were legal and insurance would cover it in the United States. And she's like,
yeah.
I know, right? So I'll get that prescription for your anti-nausea med. Anything else I can do for you? And I was like, nope, because you can't do anything else. And she's like, nope. And I was like, ha ha ha.
It
It's so
really
fucked up.
blows and is insane. Yes, truly.
Hmm.
Like, yep. But
So
here,
that's the haps.
okay, I love it. I love it. And well, I'm glad to hear it. I mean, it's a good,
Yeah.
despite the, I suppose it's kind of onerous having to cross the border and stuff like that. But despite that, it was a good outcome, and that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
That's what we
And now
want.
I have global entry. So it's called the Century
Yeah.
Pass, where like
Was it a lot quicker then to get back into?
it took me like the first time I went across, I did not have that. And it
Yeah.
took like an hour and a half, I think, on
Uh-huh.
foot. We drove once and that was a 3.5 hour wait.
Uh-huh.
So for walk across Century Pass, it took me 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
mine was like 2 hours, I think, that time I did
Yeah.
it. So yeah, that was no joke.
No.
And then like
No. They
that,
were like, he was like, just stay to the left or
yeah.
stay to the right or whatever. And I was like, okay. But yeah, the clinic like drove me back right to the border, walked across. There was like all this fun paraphernalia for sale, and I
Yeah.
bought none of it and just like ran to the car. And I was like, that was too easy. That
Yeah,
was
that
too
was
easy.
good. Well, I'm glad to hear
Now I want to go every week.
it. Yeah. Um,
Anyways, but I'm
okay.
just a junkie, so
Yeah, this is straight. But I mean, like, it's a junkie for something that is, absolutely provably good for your health. So like,
I know.
I don't know, but anyway. Okay, this is it's good news. So this past weekend since I last saw you, I went to Bealtaine Festival again. Remember I talked to you about
Ooh,
this last year?
yes. Because you were like, you could come to this or you could come to the jazz festival.
Yes, yes, that was your options. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Last
Uh-huh.
year, yeah. It was lovely, really fantastic. We had a beautiful day for it. Really kind of cool. Did the
Good.
like went with my girlfriend. She loved it as well. And what's great about it is that it is family friendly and it's not like super intense the way kind of other
Hmm.
festivals can be.
Hmm.
Did the storytelling stuff again, which was really lovely. And I think I was able to take more of it on board because like last year I was like off my face with mushrooms.
Yeah.
And this year, I was actually, really kind of, I mean, like, I did feel spiritually connected to the land, I think,
Yeah.
possibly connected to the mushrooms, but also, it was nice actually being coherent enough that I could listen and absorb stories and things.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was really beautiful once again. I think that, um, oh, also my outfit was on point. I had my utility kilt and once again, and
Yay.
my poncho, which you've seen that I got from Mexico.
Yay.
And there was so many people with ponchos that ruled. I loved it. Um,
Uh,
but the one thing I'll say that it was really was I again really had a good time. It was really lovely this year, but it felt like the scale was slightly smaller, like they had budget cuts or something like that this year. I mean, I don't know whether last year was like an anniversary thing or something, but they had like this kind of I don't know who he was. I think if I knew more about, kind of
did they have to pay for like a more famous person to show up?
no, because like this cost has went up since last year, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah. But anyway, they had a guy speak and he was like he's an influential Irish, I think, writer or like intellectual. I hadn't heard of him, but like he apparently like is, and he was speaking about the potency and the power of like the Bealtaine Festival and how it felt like a vibrant time for Ireland. And I really like that. They had like storytellers telling stories just before the fire was lit, and things like that. And the parade seemed bigger last year, but so I don't know what the fundamental difference was, but it just felt smaller. But
Hmm.
that's also lovely in its own way because it was kind of more intimate and
Totally.
still immaculate vibes, which is not something that you can easily find at a festival.
Or recreate year after
Yes.
year, like 2 years in a row of having a good time. That's never happened to me.
Yeah.
Like it was better last year.
Yes. This
It
is
will be
it. This
better
is it.
next year,
And
right?
like I understand that I am kind of saying that, but at the same time, like I thought I had a lovely time both years. You know what I mean?
There
So
you go.
it was interesting. So that's all that
Good
matters.
job, event promoter
Yep.
planners.
So they did great. The other thing I've done, which I
They
think is
light
like
something on fire, right?
they had lit a ton of stuff on fire. So well, basically they light a bonfire, and there's like bonfires on different sort of hills in the surrounding area, and it's really kind of
Ah,
beautiful to connect into that. Um, so it was really nice.
that's epic.
Um, the other thing, which is I think is a complete the opposite of this, is I went to see Warfare last night. Warfare
Is
is
it a movie?
it is a movie. It
Okay.
is deeply on chill. It is um, let me see. How do I describe Warfare? Warfare is it's the latest movie by Alex Garland who did like Civil War and things like that. I really loved Civil War.
Oh, I did. Yes, I remember that.
But the thing
Okay.
about Warfare is I also really love Annihilation, which he did. The thing about Warfare is that it's kind of it was touted as the most realistic war film ever made. Essentially, it is a dramatization of this Navy SEAL sniper unit that is like put into place in enemy territory. They get discovered, they get attacked, and it's about the actual conflict. And apparently, everything in the film is based on memories of actual soldiers who were in the conflict itself. So
Wow.
it's kind of really good in that it's such a, great depiction of how mundane these things often are, how like whenever big things happen, they are horrifying and terrible and like, completely destructive rather than like big, redemptive sort of like swelling music sort of moments. Like there's a couple of like big moments that happen in it that are like really kind of serious. Like even a couple of people getting injured is this really heavy shit that really causes so many like logistical headaches and things like that. But yeah, really really good stuff. But like I wonder is punishing too strong a word to use. A tough watching experience, I would say, but one that I'm glad I had, and one that I'm glad I had in the cinema because it's just like orally, really kind of like powerful as well. But
Would
yeah,
you watch it again, do you think?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. I have like Schindler's List, like
Yeah.
I feel like I should, but it's so I remember being in we had to go watch it, I think in middle school,
Hmm.
like it's a field trip, and they were like, we're gonna go do this. And my mom was like, I'm not signing this permission
Hmm.
slip. And I was like, Mom, like I can't, what am I gonna do? Like like sit in school by myself and everyone else is there. I told her that like this year. I was like, do you remember you wouldn't sign the permission slip for that? And she was like, really? Like I wasn't gonna educate you on this, like what an idiot. And she was like, I'm sure I was just probably trying to protect you, but so it's like, yeah, I get that feeling of like needed to see it, but maybe can't see it again.
I heard the podcast I bang on about the movie podcast I listen to a lot of was
Saving
doing.
Private Ryan does that to me too.
Yeah, I
Like
can
I
completely
remember
understand
I
that.
like started crying in the very beginning when the old guy like walks over to the grave and just like starts crying, and then I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm done for." And it's like 5 minutes in.
And then like one of the most searingly brutal sort of opening sequences of all time as well, like the attack on the D-Day sort of
Yeah.
attack is
Yes, Attack on
insane.
Normandy,
Um,
which I'm embarrassed to say for a long time didn't know that was France. Ha
I
ha.
mean,
Now I
like
do.
where did you think it was out of curiosity?
Don't know. They're just
Just
there. It was
Europe,
just there.
Europe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love it. Um,
Eurasia.
Eurasia, yeah. I mean, yeah, you know. Um,
I'm sorry,
yeah,
everyone. I'm literally joking.
she is, she is. I think no, I saw them they were talking about Schindler's List, the podcast I listened to, and
Mhm.
they were saying how even though it's very heavy subject matter, because Steven Spielberg is such a
Mhm.
exciting filmmaker, it's still really,
Holds up.
it's
I
still really
tried last
watchable.
year. I was like, gotta do it. And I got maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes in, and I was just
Yeah.
like, this is too.
Like I don't think I would reach for it myself, but if somebody was like, "Do you want to watch it?" I'd be like, "Okay, yeah, I'll watch
Mhm.
it." But
Mhm.
like I don't think I would reach for it. But
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah. Okay. So we move on to what's occurring. Do you have any what's occurring for us
I
this week?
do. I had
What do you
two
got here?
lovely people that sent me videos of crows.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, I know about one of these.
And I wasn't gonna be like, I wasn't gonna do it again, but guess who's outside?
Mm, right now?
Right now there's
Hell
two of
yeah.
them. So
Hell
now
yeah.
I'm like, my chances I think are if it was one, I think I could make it happen, but like
Hmm.
I don't know if I can do two.
No, but this is you getting your full murder. You're gonna get murderer crows. That's what you
I could
want.
have a murder of crows. They would just
Hmm.
follow me around.
That would
I'd be like a
rule.
crone. That's what I really
Yeah.
want to be.
That's sweet. You need like some sort of robe, some sort of potted robe, so they can actually nest on your like
Yeah,
shoulders and
yeah.
arms and stuff.
I have the hair for it. It's like a giant bird nest anyway. So,
I love it.
anyways, yes.
I had
So thank
mine.
you.
Mine was so going back to our local history episode that we did.
Yes. Yes.
So one of my friends who is based in Scotland, our a friend who contacts us a lot about the podcast, was telling me that which we love by the way. I just realized how
Love
that
it.
sounded. We
It's the
do love it.
best.
We yeah, I keep it coming. It's always a
Weeks go
delight.
by and I hear nothing, and I'm like, should I check in on him
Oh
and make
yeah,
sure he's
no.
okay?
But anyway, he sent me a message about so we talked about like the Trainspotting 2 in Trainspotting
Mhm,
2 where they go to the bar and there's all the
mhm.
people who support King Billy and because it was 1690 was the year that it happened. A lot of them have that as their pin code. So he was telling me, and I did not know this, that for a long time, bars that, in Glasgow or in Scotland that were bars for like Protestants and people who supported King Billy and blah blah blah, it would charge £3 and 10 pence for a pint, so that if you gave them £20 note, you would get
They would give you
£16 and 90 pence change because,
wow,
right?
that's
It's a
fascinating.
level of dedication that I love to see.
Yes.
And I'm like,
Yes.
they're bound to do that. They're bound to do that here. But like I've never heard of it before, but I love it made me so happy to hear. I was like, yes, you fucking weebs. And they would call me a nerd. Anyway, I mean I am a nerd. All right, let's not go crazy. Um, but anyway, okay, shall we
That's a good
move
one.
on, isn't it? Shall
Yes,
we move on to our topic?
we can. So
Let's
I thought of this the other night. I started watching the rehearsal
uh-huh.
and I was like, and so I was like, start with season one. And then I was like, no, like season two was like about something that's like interesting and applies to right now, which is about like airplane safety. So then I bumped over to season two, but I was like this guy, and like part of the way into like the first episode of season two, he's kind of like, so far, this is a comedy show, and I've said nothing that's
Yes.
comedic at all, right? This is not funny. And it's not. And I was like, okay, so here is this guy who asked HBO for money for to do whatever he wanted, and they were like, okay. And I was like, I wish that could happen to me. And then I was like, what other things do I wish that could just like randomly happen? If they could happen for him, it can probably happen for anybody, right?
Right.
So then I was like, well, what if Andy and I just sat down and talked about all the like random things that like even if it wasn't possible, we could still wish for?
I like it. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah. And when putting this together and Beth suggested to me, I was like, do I go wild or do I go,
Yeah.
at least quasi-realistic? And I think
Yeah.
I've got a mixture of both here.
Me too. Okay, I went a little further. So there are many ways to make a wish.
Hmm.
So I'll give you an example, maybe of a few of these ways that you make wishes and see
Yeah.
if like your country does them or if it's just something that we do here.
Hmm.
Okay?
Yeah, love it.
Because like that whole thing is that's a whole nother episode, but I thought we could kind of merge them into one.
Yeah.
So, do you want to talk about your wish?
Yes.
Okay, touch blue and your wish will come true. So touch something blue right
Ooh,
now.
no, I've never heard of
Yeah.
that one before in my
Yes,
life.
me neither.
Wow. Okay. It's a
So I
good
think
one.
it's probably like maybe back in the day when people, I don't know. I mean, that's more of like a wedding thing, right?
Yeah. I suppose that's true. What the something borrowed, something blue of
Hmm.
weddings. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like it's interesting because um it's reminding me of the at the fire festival is at a place called Ushnacht and
Ushnacht.
Ushnacht. Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
here's the question. Here's the greater
Did you?
question.
Did you?
Did I say that right? Um, so there is and I'm going to mess this up, but essentially, like there is a thing that you do if you walk around the stone clockwise, you walk around it
Uh-huh.
3 times with your hand held out, and basically, at various in each of those rotations, I think you ask for something, something you're throwing away, something you want, something you wish for, and what you're going to do to achieve it. I believe I can't remember something along those lines. So it
That's
is kind of
cool.
a wish, but it's also a wish with the understanding that you're going to make that into a reality.
Like you have to promise.
Yeah, like promise, but also take action. Do you know what I mean? Not just
Yeah.
expect it to land in your lap, which I think is
Gotcha.
quite nice.
Yeah. Yes. Like you have to actually go to buy the lottery ticket. It's not going to show up at your door.
Exactly. Exactly,
Speaking of
exactly.
which, this is totally off topic. It was
Uh-huh.
Mother's Day this weekend in the States,
Oh yeah.
and I got the two things I love most in the world,
Uh-huh.
scratchers, which are like little gambling
Yep, we
tickets,
have them.
and fruit snacks.
Ooh, nice.
And the kids are like, "We get to gamble." And I'm like, "You sure do, kids."
I I think it's so funny. Like some of the Pets Therapy kids I work with are like, whenever I have like a push your luck game, they're like, "It's gambling." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"It's not gambling. We're not spending money. Nobody's bought anything. Nobody's going to be losing anything. Please stop saying that we're gambling because that will get me in trouble."
Right, right.
And then they just said more, of course. So it's like, what can I do?
Okay, so
Yes.
touch something blue. I touch something blue, and then tell me a wish.
Okay. Wait. Are you asking me to tell you a wish now?
Yeah.
Okay. So my number one wish in my life is that I
Ooh.
wish money wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
More than anything else. I wish it wasn't this constant oppressive drive that I have to put so much of my energy into because it
Hmm.
sucks. And like I'm grateful that I'm kind of in the position that I'm in, that I don't maybe need quite as much money as maybe a lot of other people would, because I don't have dependents and things like that. But
Hmm.
it still sucks ass, honestly. And it's
I would
I don't
agree with that.
right.
I, yeah, it's on my list. Just like
Um
enough, right? Enough that you don't have to like worry about things like, can I get stem cells?
yes.
Sorry. I'm
Or
obsessed. Or yeah, just like, can I afford if the pet that I love like gets sick, Because
yeah.
it's never a good time for that.
No, it sure isn't. No, absolutely. And it's just so restrict. I mean, is restrictive the right word? As I say, I just think it is for the vast majority of people, a constant need to think about this, to worry about this, and like
Yeah.
what happens if, and like because of the nature of the kind of work that I'm doing, a lot of it feels quite ephemeral and could like drop away at any second. So it's like a
Hmm.
constant stress.
Yes.
And like
I
it's
can
not
tell it's doing good things for you.
right. Yeah, I know. You know me, like stress free and happy all the time.
Right, right,
Uh, but yeah, so that was the first one I kind of I had kind of thought about and put down.
right. Okay, I'll give you one of mine. I
Go for
wish I
it.
could communicate with nice ghosts
I like that. Okay.
because right, then that also means that something does happen after death. So that's kind of like a two birds wish.
Yes, this is what I was gonna say
Without
that.
actually
Yeah,
wishing to know that, then that would be proof, right?
that would be a lot of exciting knowledge. I mean, like that would be a lot of yeah. I mean,
And they would be so nice.
like I suppose it would answer questions and it would also like throw up a
Bring up
load
more.
more questions. Yeah,
Right,
so
right,
it's
right.
interesting.
Yeah.
But I suppose you could ask the ghosts. If they're nice, they would maybe tell
They
you.
would want to tell me, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought. That's what I
I like it.
thought.
Okay, that's a good one.
Um, okay, so make a wish each time you eat a green M&M.
Holy crap. I mean, that'd be a lot of wishes,
I
potentially.
know. I know. I never
Jeez.
knew this.
Okay, I have not
So
heard
who
that one
was the
either.
band? Was it Metallica that was like, no, Rolling Stones, one of them.
That had the
Yeah, so they requested you get what's called a tech writer, which you present to whatever you're a musician or a comedian or whatever, and you give the venue your writer, and it's like
Mhm.
these are all the things I want, and they wanted to make sure that these venues were actually reading the writer, and one of the things in the writer was they wanted a bowl that only had green M&Ms in it, and so like
Interesting.
certain venues would do it and other ones wouldn't, and it was like funny for them. But
I
like I used to have to work with tech writers, and that would have pissed me the fuck off.
Yeah, no, it's so
But
I was curious. I just looked at this because I
yes,
was like, who was it? It
yes,
was Van Halen
Van
apparently.
Halen. Okay.
Okay,
Well,
because like I
yeah,
wasn't sure about
okay.
that myself.
That makes
Um,
more sense.
but apparently like the whole thing I remember reading about it was like years ago and it was like they were just doing it to make sure that people had read the writer, I think. But like
Yes,
it's
yes.
still they still have to do it. You know what I mean? If they're
Yeah,
reading the writer, they're still having to do all
you
this
have to do
shit.
it.
Like some
Yes.
poor bastard has to like sort out M&Ms. But also you know that somebody's had their hands all over those M&Ms. I don't know if I want those M&Ms particularly.
Right. Well, okay, if you can make a wish every time you eat a green M&M, I used to think Van Halen was silly for wanting that in their rider, and now I'm like, oh, maybe they know something about green M&Ms.
Maybe they do.
And that's
Uh,
a lot of wishes. And they were,
they were just like they wanted all those wishes fulfilled. They were doing
uh-huh.
pretty freaking good, at least for a while there. So like maybe
Yeah.
that's why.
Now
Maybe
we
it's
have
like one of
Cabo
those.
Wabo tequila.
Thank God. I mean, like
Okay, so
if only that.
I have no M&Ms to share, but let's pretend that we just did that, and then
Okay.
I'm going to tell you a wish and you tell me a wish.
Okay.
Okay, mine's really lame
Go
or
for
really awesome. I wish to be invited to Tom Holland and Zendaya's wedding.
it. I like it.
Thanks.
I I literally just very recently watched the video of Tom Holland doing
Him
the umbrella dance and Zendaya
of
sort of like
Brianna.
being like
Yes, yes,
whenever he came
yes,
out in drag and just
yes.
losing her freaking mind.
It was like I watched it last night. When I'm sad, I watch that
It's good.
because they're so adorable, and
They
he
are.
does such an amazing job of
He does.
doing a Rihanna impression. His dancing, like, and but starting it with singing in the rain, and like, yeah, it was awesome.
It's pretty
And I
fantastic.
think
Like,
I've heard him say that that's like the thing that most people remember him for.
wow.
I
So
know.
interesting.
Yeah.
Considering he's
Not
like
being Spider-Man,
Spider-Man,
it's being
yeah.
Rihanna.
I mean, like, other than Spider-Man, I can't think of other things really, but like that, that's a good
Mhm.
one. Um,
So if I got a +1, if this does happen, I'll find a green M&M somewhere in the house. Maybe I'll take you. We'll
hell
see.
yeah,
I
please.
know.
I want to go to that wedding.
I just want to
Um,
see, yeah, like what her wedding dress is gonna look like.
yeah. I mean, like, I think ultimately it would like suck because we get there and be like, we don't know any of these people. There'll be lots of
Yeah,
celebs there. I suppose we could just like awkwardly like, hi.
that's what we
Uh,
would do, and it would be
yeah.
fine.
Yeah, it would be fine. You're right. Okay. I like that. Okay.
Tell me a
So,
wish.
I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a
Wish it was a
baller. I wish I had
baller.
a
Wish I
girl.
had a
If I did, I
girl.
would call her. I wish I had a rabbit and a cat with a bat. I just, I was determined whenever I was writing this down to be like, how far can I go
Yes,
without looking up lyrics?
I can only do Ice Ice
A couple of
Baby.
lines. Oh,
It's
really?
pretty
Oof,
good.
that's a
Yeah, yeah,
tough
yeah.
one.
And a little
That's
bit of Baby Got Back, but
that's a tough. So my other one, geez, mine aren't as much fun. I'm gonna think of some fun ones as we go. Right? I
Okay.
wish, right,
Yeah.
that the general population was able to critically think better.
Wouldn't that be nice? I
Right?
remember taking all these psychology classes about mob mentality
Yeah.
and being like, but what? Yeah, right? What if
It's
we could use mob mentality for good
that would be nice.
instead of pitchforking?
Yeah. Or just like, or also, just at a bare minimum, kind of go, hmm, what if I'm wrong?
Mm.
And also, if I am wrong, that's okay. Is
I
would be
can always
huge.
change my mind,
Yeah. And I can
and
go,
that would be okay.
yeah, and people will go, well, you said that this other thing yesterday. They will do that, but like
Mm.
that's their problem, honestly. They are unable to critically think, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like I now understand why it's, you know, not something that people can do. It's dangerous to a lot of our like, political structures and things like that, so I get why it
Yes.
isn't really taught, but it also is kind of like really sad that it isn't as well. So yeah, anyway. Right. I'm thinking of more fun
Yeah.
ones for the next one.
Okay. Okay. So, okay. Make a wish when you see three birds on a telephone wire.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's because of Bob Marley and
Okay.
his Three Little Birds song, but they were pitching by his doorstep, not on a telephone wire. But I can get behind that. We have a lot of birds. We don't really have many telephone wires here. They buried all the cables.
Oh,
So this must
really?
be this must be an older one. Yeah, they buried all the like fiber optic.
Why? Oh,
Um, because trees.
let's see.
You guys don't have trees, so
Well, we do have some, but I understand. I suppose like you have more erratic weather conditions, I guess, so that
oh
kind of makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
No, it was 102 over the weekend with like the Santa Ana winds coming. So it was like
oh,
hot and we were like trying to get shit out of the pool so we could have a pool party. And Mike was like, God damn it, this is fucking bullshit. So, anyways, that has nothing to do with anything. But three
um,
birds on a telephone. I will say, like, it can be a power line too. It doesn't have to be
yep,
just a
yep.
telephone line because I don't know the difference. Do you?
Hmm. That's a good question. I think no, I don't think I do.
That's a terrible question.
I
But thank
think,
you for making me feel better.
I mean, like, I think, geez, that's yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Mm-mm.
I'm trying to think like because you've really got my mind thinking here whenever you're like talking about stuff going underground, and I'm like, I think it's just our electrical wires are above ground now, but I don't know for sure. But
Yeah.
also, I don't care that
Right.
much.
Fair
There's wires up
point.
there. It's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. It's normal. It's fine.
Hmm.
Okay. I wish I was Spider-Man.
I love that for you. I
He's
could
good,
get behind that.
right?
Yeah.
He's a
Yep.
nerd. He's a nerd.
But he's like the sweetest kind of,
He's a
like
good
if there
boy.
were, if I would say if anybody would be Spider-Man, it would be you.
Yeah. I think I have,
Like, because he's a little like this, like he doesn't really want it, but he's
yep.
got to have, it's like great power,
And even
great
if he's like
responsibility.
beat to shit, he gets up and he does it anyway because he's got to do it because he's Spider-Man. So, and
Yeah,
I relate to that
yeah.
considering how,
Like, have you
relentlessly I move
thought this
forwards.
since you picked it up as a
Yeah,
kid and you were like, oh, this could be me?
like I think I certainly talked before about how influential Spider-Man comics were and Spider-Man generally as a person in the comics was on my growth as a kid.
Yeah.
Like it really spoke to me. So I really love great power comes great responsibility. I think there's funky aspects of that potentially, but I kind of like it within the context of what Spider-Man is.
Hmm.
I I think that also like even though it's like fairly moral, it's also kind of like taking things into your own hands and like doing what's right sort of thing, no matter the odds stacked against you, et cetera, which is definitely something that I have always strongly kind of vibed with.
You love costumes.
I love costumes. I do.
So like the creation of the costume, like the montage of that would be
Yeah.
epic.
I also like I also like doing shit and not necessarily getting praise and stuff for it as well. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. Yep.
Like I don't that's not what that's not why I'm doing it as well, which is
Yeah.
quite a Spider-Man thing, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
like
like
it,
it.
Spider-Man.
I can see it. I can see it.
I keep like trying to arrange to get bit by radioactive things, but no dice so far.
I will see what I can do there.
I'll literally take anything. It doesn't have to be a spider. Like it just.
Okay. So some of these I've never heard of. This one's weird. Put a watermelon seed on your forehead and make a wish before it falls off.
Geez,
Do you
no,
guys
I
have
don't.
watermelons?
We do, but not. I don't think they're grown here, but we have
Yeah,
access to them. Yeah,
they get imported. Yeah,
yeah.
I've never heard that one, and I've eaten a lot of watermelon in my
Nope.
life. So I wish that I could do that I could astral project.
Hmm.
Because like I was like, I wish I could fly. And then I was like, no, like, what if I got tired? But if I could like fly outside of my body, I could nap at the same time,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
then like fly around and check stuff out and be a total creep and spy on
Yep.
everyone.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Just up in the air with binoculars.
Right? Right? So
Amazing.
I wish for that.
I like it.
And that, some people think they can do it. So that's like not that far out of
Yeah,
reality.
that's true. Actually, yeah. Um, yeah, that's a good one.
I just spit all over myself and it was like a loogie. I'm sorry.
It's quite right.
Ew.
It's quite right. We'll
Sorry.
definitely not
I
video.
wish that didn't happen.
We'll definitely not video clip this bit. Wink.
Okay.
Uh, okay. So, I wish I had an extra day in the week that nobody else knew
Mm,
about. That was just my day.
that's a good one.
It would be nice. I would, play a lot of video games. I would hopefully get some work done as well. Like not like work, but like creative work done. Do you know what I mean? Like stuff that I actually find time for those things,
Totally.
whether that's, writing something again or um, you know, getting to work on my decks and things like that, those sorts of things, actually, those sorts of pursuits that I just never have the time for. So yeah,
Hmm.
that would be sweet.
That is so 8 days in a week,
Yeah. But
but a day
again,
that it's like time and space fold and it's just
thanks
like
just
your
falls
little
on only I have
pocket.
access to it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And but like still all of my shit works, right? Like,
Right,
my
right.
computer works, I can read books and Kindle and things like that.
Yeah.
But like my phone,
Okay.
it's okay if my phone doesn't work. I'm
Right.
okay with
I was
that.
gonna say, like, which of the electronics would you want to hold on to?
Yeah, not my phone.
No. Um, okay. This one's okay. Okay. Some of these, like obviously the birthday cake one, first star you see. Have you done that one? Make a wish on the first star you see at night.
Oh, yep. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, so there's the whole rhyme for that. Star bright, Starlight, Starbright, Star Star, I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might have this wish I wish tonight. Have you heard that?
Yep. What
Okay.
is that? I don't know where I know that from, but I do know it. Yeah.
Mm. It's kind of like we're born knowing certain things. That rhyme is one of them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um, I wish I had a pig. Do you know this?
Yes, we've talked about this before, actually, now you mention it. I mean, why not? Get
I
that
know they're
pig.
so cute and like I had this dream like I could just throw like food out the kitchen window and the pig would like be outside and be like, "Yeah, it's snack time."
Yeah,
And it would
that
be
would
like this fun
rule.
thing that we would do and the crow would come and like ride on the pig's back.
That would be
So,
nice.
I know
Okay,
the
yeah,
menagerie.
I know. I mean, like you do need more animals. Your animal numbers.
They're
You need to get
they're
those
they're on the
animal numbers.
decline. I
Yeah,
know.
you need to get
I
those
know.
animal numbers back up.
It's probably
Um,
going to be like a hamster or something, but
yeah, that's
we'll
true.
see. We'll see.
But like, yeah, pigs need homes. You got a big
They
back
do.
garden.
Yeah, right.
Um, um, I'd say pigs
Give
would eat a
me,
lot, though, right? I mean, you suppose you can just feed them scraps, basically, can't you? And they're like, "Let's go."
I don't know. Tell me someone who has pigs. What do pigs eat? I assume they, it's like you've heard of like the pig trough, and I remember like reading Charlotte's Web, and it was like this pig slop trough, and it was just everything goes in there, right?
Like, yeah, I mean, it was my
My
understanding
mom, yes, it's
with
a
with like food waste bins that because we have like three different kinds of trash collection, which is like general waste, recyclables, and food waste. And it was
mhm.
my understanding that essentially food waste was just given to pigs, but I don't know whether that's true or not, or whether it's used for compost or whatever. But
Whoa.
yeah,
Seriously?
yeah, I could be wrong. I don't know where I heard that from or how true that is, but yeah, I mean, like, I'm not
Our
sure.
ours is it's recycling like general landfill and then like yard clippings.
Oh, we have one of those
But
as well.
you could do okay, so you have four, but
We
like
have
we
four.
don't no one composts out here. And
Um,
that may be honestly because of like fires, because of the heat that can be generated can actually start a fire.
The food waste actually goes, now I think about it, the food waste actually goes into the garden clippings and things like that. So I don't know. Probably for compost. I don't know.
Okay. I just said something that's probably inaccurate.
Hmm.
Can compost start fires? Why don't you
There
look in
is
your mind
something about one of the elements of compost being used in bombs and things like that.
because of the heat, right? And I remember like taking a compost class and like they would put a thermometer in the center of the compost and it would be like hundreds of degrees. And that creates all the bacteria that like eats all the food and then
I can't
make
remember what
poops
it
it out and
is.
makes dirt.
So like
Sorry.
whenever I look into my mind palace, what's coming up is that it's refers to a climate related instability where rapid global warming could lead to a surge of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere
Well,
from peatlands and other soil-based organic matter. So
no,
my mind palace is being no help. But there's definitely something, or is it fertilizer maybe, I think, which might be a different thing. Oh my word, I'm sure everybody's
it's
loving
okay.
it.
No, didn't you want to know about compost today?
But there's something that is inherently ammonium nitrate,
Oh,
which is a type of fertilizer. It is dangerous and is combustible, apparently.
got it.
So yeah. Oh, that's what do you call him? Timothy McVeigh did a deadly combination of agricultural fertilizer and diesel fuel and other chemicals for the bombing in the FBI
Great.
building.
Great. Oklahoma City.
So we're not following in great footsteps here, Um,
What's your wish?
I wish what I've written down here is I wish I could go back to a pager. To be clear, I've never had a pager, but I wish I could
Okay.
not have my phone. Instead, I'd have a thing that
Yeah.
if people needed to reach me in emergencies, they could.
Yes.
And otherwise, like, I just have to see you in person, or I could maybe write people a letter. I mean, with all that free time,
Yeah.
not having a phone, I
With your
probably would
extra
have
day.
time. Yeah, for an
Yeah.
extra day. I probably could start writing letters again. That'd be nice. I mean, I've only written like about three letters in my life, but
I wrote something similar. I said that CDs were still the way to listen to music and there was like no Spotify.
mm,
And then I also wrote I would get rid of AI
yeah,
because the Pope said that is the greatest challenge to humanity. And
like
he's been in the job for 3 days. So
I think it is a nightmare for a number of different reasons. I think it's like, both. I think the energy draw is ludicrous,
I
honestly.
I'm like totally like I wonder how my life would be different if I didn't have the phone and like the internet. Not the, I guess, yeah, maybe the internet too. Like I just miss going to a CD store and buying CDs.
Yeah. Like I definitely like having people, discovering people that I can trust to like curate things for me, both like
Totally.
friends versus, or also like
I'll be like, I
radio
made you a mix
personalities.
CD.
Yes.
And
And
you'll
it's
be
like,
like,
oh, okay.
yay, so exciting.
But it's also like, very much with the internet and with all these things, it's like once Pandora's box was opened,
Yeah.
or
It
any
probably,
hope
st yeah, it started
of
with the pager, Andy.
the dead, what? Well, I mean, like, let's go back to the pager. Stay there.
Mike had a pager.
Nice.
I had a pager
Oh,
actually. I
really?
forgot about that. Yeah, for like a job, but it was super helpful. And I would find a phone and then call the person back.
I mean, exactly. And I like that feels like a much better system to me because I think what I really struggle with about phones is how intrusive they are, is how like
Hmm.
no matter where I am, it's inescapable, it will
Yes.
just it
Do you
can
have people that like are like wanting an immediate response and they don't, because I know you, like you don't, you and I are the same. My phone is on silent all the time.
hmm
I check it probably like once an hour because I have kids in
yeah,
school. Otherwise I wouldn't. And sometimes some days I'll be like, I'm not gonna respond to text for like I'll do them all at once.
yes, that's what I tend to do.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like obviously I don't have any dependents and stuff like that, so I'm lucky in that regard. But it's like I think probably somewhat similar to yourself. Maybe every hour, maybe every couple of hours. Like if I'm doing something, it's just like my phone is always in do not disturb. But like, I think you asked whether it was people. Most of the people who know me well enough know that that's just my relationship with my phone and are kind of okay with that. Like some people would prefer a faster response, but it's never going to be. I think I had a bit more of a relationship like that with my phone years and years ago, but like for a long, long time now, that's how it's been, and I do not intend to change that because
No.
it is it's detrimental to my mental health. It being like the few times that I've taken off Do Not Disturb and silent mode, I find it really triggering and really making me insane so quickly. It's just like ding ding. I was like, ah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no
Okay.
thanks.
No thanks. I like it. Same Z's,
Hmm.
same wish. Okay, so this one I didn't know. Make a wish on a new pair of shoes before you wear them for the first time.
Oh really?
I like that.
Yeah,
Like
that's nice because they're taking you
it,
places.
they're taking you places.
Hmm.
I wish I had the year that like someone created these and made them a thing, or like some of them disappeared, right? Because I've
Yes,
literally never made a wish on a pair of shoes, but I would totally do that.
it's nice.
Yeah. So I wish, what do I wish? Why don't you go first? Oh,
So yeah, go ahead.
okay. Nope, I think I got one. I wish to sit in on a conclave.
That does not
The
surprise me in the
movie was
slightest.
not enough. I want to like be there
Because
and like,
because you were so excited for the most recent one.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like I know it was like we were talking about sports betting on it and things like that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
saw a meme and it was just like orange smoke and everyone's like, no. And I was like, ha ha ha.
What orange smoke means that it's over?
No, it would mean that Donald Trump was Pope.
I see, I see, I see, I see.
Sorry.
Wow.
So yeah,
Okay.
so I don't remember for the movie. I have to watch it again. But yeah, it's like or black smoke means no consensus. White smoke means new Pope.
Yes, yes, yes,
And so
yes.
I'm probably saying it backwards, so someone correct me.
Yeah, who knows? Like, but there's a whole system.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I bet you wouldn't be as fun or sexy as Conclave the movie.
totally.
It would just be a bunch of old dudes shuffling about the place. Uh,
Yeah, getting drunk and being
right.
mad
Yeah,
and
yeah.
but maybe there are turtles. I don't know.
Maybe they're turtles. I'd say that's gotta be true, right?
It's too weird. Okay, so in the movie, they're like one of the popes from hundreds of years ago or whatever really liked turtles, so they're just like turtles all over the Vatican. I don't know if this is true, but like as you're saying, I think it's too weird to not be like
Yeah.
truth being better than
If
fiction.
it feels like a very specific, very odd, specific for there not to be some truth there. Yeah.
I will research this
Yeah, do
and I will
please.
report back onto whether or not there are turtles in the
I think
Vatican.
a general report on what animals are in the Vatican would be interesting. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would love to know.
Right? Like the Tower of London. Did
Yeah,
you
the
learn
crows.
that? No, so
No
I don't remember which king, but like, or which kings decided, or queens decided that they wanted like basically kind of like an arc. So they have all these like wire sculptures at the Tower of London, like to show you what, like, oh, they had polar bears and they had lions and they had like all these
interesting.
like animals that lived there. And I was like, that's so cool.
That'll be good in the coming apocalypse to look back.
I know,
Like in the
right?
long, long ago, look at all these
Long,
animals that
long, right?
lived.
Okay, yes. So
Um,
what you got?
in lieu of money still being around,
Yes.
I wish that certain professions were paid better. Um,
Yeah, that's a good one.
I education,
Uh-huh.
health,
Uh-huh.
and all sorts of health, mental and physical health. I think creative people should be paid better, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think, equal
in that order,
wages.
probably.
Yep. I would agree with that. I think, yeah, it's like sometimes you go places and you see these like monstrosity of a house and it's gorgeous, but you're just like, who can afford this? Like,
Yeah,
and what did they do, right? And they like, they work in a building. Maybe they're a doctor, but depending, maybe they're an anesthesiologist.
hmm
Uh, but on the whole, it's like no one's doing anything that's worthy of making, $1 billion a year or whatever.
yeah. This is so true, so true.
Do you see that Bill Gates is giving away his fortune
Yep,
while he's still alive? $200
uh,
billion dollars.
Bill Gates rocks.
I know. I was like, can we ask him for some money?
Yeah, that's true. We do need it.
We're
Like
like,
if
we're just trying to make a nice hour for people to enjoy.
he's throwing it around, but like it's so upsetting that like he's the one who's everybody's like, oh, he's the microchip guy trying to put microchips in, blah blah blah.
Oh
Whereas
yeah.
like
And like what was his relationship with Epstein?
yes. Whereas it's like there's another guy you should maybe be looking at. He
hmm
probably had an interesting relationship with Epstein. Anyway, multiple
hmm
other guys for that matter, honestly.
hmm
Um, yeah, I like it.
No, that's a good one. That's like mine are very selfish and like
No, I have had like I mean like I've had one of a full day for myself in fairness. I
yes,
wanted to be Spider-Man, so like
that's true.
I'm not covering myself in glory here particularly, but like I feel like they are other things that I have another one that's a bit like but I'm not like I just fundamentally look out in the world and I'm like, I wish this was better. And
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
a rising tide lifts all boats. It would also be great for me if these things were better. So like
true.
it's not entirely altruistic.
Right. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you. I
Okay, you're welcome.
was like, what's the word when you're trying to help other people and be better for humanity? Okay. Okay, I did not know this. Wishes on Midsummer's Eve, June 23rd, are most likely to come true. So that's passive wish making.
Okay.
Uh,
I've heard of that one either.
okay. So June 23rd, make a note, make a wish, it will
hmm
most likely come true. I would like to host SNL.
Ooh, I like it.
I know.
Okay.
If Elon Musk can do it, so can
I
I.
mean, like, yeah, that's
The
very
bar is
fair.
the bar is low
Yeah, I mean, like
or
that's
high or whatever, doesn't matter.
yeah, I like it a lot actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I would be a page just to see what happens,
yeah,
right? Be a
I'm sure
fly
it'd
on
be
the
like
wall.
deeply stressful. Like you'd probably do a week of it and
Yeah.
be like, and
You
like
don't sleep for
everything,
a whole week.
yeah, everything I hear about it is like we love it, but we all have anxiety and have had nervous breakdowns basically because of it. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's a
But
good
like
one.
while Lauren is still there and maybe Tina Fey would guest star.
Yeah. Okay. You never know. Let's see what the next few years bring.
Right. Oh, I forgot to tell you this.
Uh-huh.
It's on my What's Occurring. They're gonna start giving out Golden Globes for podcasts.
I've heard about this. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, so everyone just gonna maybe this will be my June 23rd wish.
That's one of the parts of the EGOT, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, sweet.
Oh
Right, we're
yes.
on our way. No, it's a
Oh, don't
Grammy.
worry.
No, it's
I'm
not. It's a
think
Grammy.
Is it Grammy?
Shit.
Maybe
Yes,
it's
the
Grammy,
G's a
not Golden
Grammy.
Globe. Maybe it's a Grammy, not
Fuck.
Golden Globe.
I mean, like it's still a G. It counts when we get it inevitably. Okay, perfect. Like somebody
Okay.
in for,
Yeah, no, it's the Golden Globes. Okay. Because I had to look in my brain and my
of course.
memories. What would you wish for Midsummer's Eve?
I I really would love to just like travel constantly and like experience
Yeah.
like I would just like love to like go year about and live in like different countries and like really kind of immerse myself because like the time I spent in Korea and the time I spent in Taiwan where I was actually obviously hanging out with quite a few Westerners, but you really do have to like you do see such a much bigger slice of what that world actually looks like. So yeah,
Mhm.
I would love to just be continually doing that.
That was on my list too.
Hmm.
And I think it's like I would need breaks, but like on the whole, like even just going like walking across the border to Tijuana, I just like
Yeah,
feel more alive in general
yeah, I
when
hear you.
I'm experiencing the rest of the world outside of, you know, my little my little area here.
Yep. No, I hear you. I hear you. I love it. I've only got one more. Should we do one more?
Oh,
Or do you
yeah,
have more?
what are
Do you
we
have
at?
more?
I have, some are boring. Okay, so I know something similar to this. Hold your breath and make a wish while crossing a short straight bridge. So
Okay,
I've heard it
interesting.
as hold your breath in a tunnel. Like if anytime you drive through a tunnel, you have to hold your breath the whole time.
Oh,
Which
okay. No, I
like
haven't
if
heard of
it's like
that
the Lincoln Tunnel, sorry, you're probably gonna not make it out
one.
the other side. But yeah, it's a thing. You gotta hold your breath.
Interesting. I like that. Okay, it's good. Uh,
The crossing a short straight bridge, that I haven't heard. So
no, nor have I.
that's folklore. I don't know why that would be.
It's a good one though. I thought I
Uh-huh.
would have heard of more of these, but there you go.
I
Interesting.
know, I know. And there are ones that's okay. I'm just gonna rapid fire a few of
Yep.
them.
Go for it.
Make a wish on the first robin you see in the spring.
Okay.
Find a penny, wear it in your left shoe, and your wish will come true, which
That
is like
sounds familiar.
penny loafers. I had penny loafers
Okay.
because I was a nerd and I wore them with socks because Michael Jackson ruined that for
Nerd.
everyone. Nerd. Blow out your candles on your cake, make a wish. Throw a coin in a fountain and make a wish when the water clears so you can see your reflection. I like that one.
Hmm.
Uh, Make a wish on the wishbone. Did you guys do
Yep.
wishbones? Okay, so that the person that gets the largest piece of the bone when you crack it gets a lucky break in the wish.
Hmm.
So, and that's like that was not an exhaustive search. That was like the first thing that came up on in my mind palace.
I thought I would know. Yeah, I thought I would know most of them, but
Mhm.
that's pretty fascinating. Yeah, good
Yeah,
list.
thanks, babe. So,
Yeah.
what wish do you want for all of those?
All right. So my last one is that I wish, and this is I'm gonna have to explain this a little bit, but
Okay.
I wish I could like remove people's mental health conditions. Now,
Yeah.
I understand that that's a complex thing, and that's not, and and there's not, an easy kind of, obviously mental health is deeply complex, but I wish I could lift away the painful aspects of it because life is tough enough as is, and people don't need that extra shit on top of that. So yeah, that's some real like if you gave a genie that wish, they'd be like, bro,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know where to start with this shit, but like that's a really kind of blue sky thing that I'm thinking because like I know a lot of people who have a variety of different mental health issues, and I also experience how tough that is at times, and it's not it, and it needs to go as far as I'm concerned. So I wish it
Yeah.
was gone.
I love that. That's very kind of you.
Mm.
Again, altruistic and lovely.
Not entirely. Again, once again, I also would like to get
Yeah.
rid of my own shit. So like, I mean, not
Right. I was gonna
entirely.
say is that like your stuff, but also like then if you're
Somewhat.
doing it for
I
you, then
mean,
you could do it for everyone
if it helps
else.
me too,
Right.
I'm not gonna complain. Yeah. So yeah.
No, so that's sweet. I think let's see. I think oh, yeah. Okay. I wish someone or maybe me created things that lasted like your whole life.
Yeah.
Like light bulbs
Oh
or
God,
like
yeah.
pants that you love or pair of shoes that are the best. They just lasted forever.
Like
And I
Yeah.
feel like that was like a thing for a while, and then people were like, "Oh no, we can actually make these last less
And then
time.
we can sell them another
We're gonna
one.
sell
Yeah.
them another one." Yeah, right. And so that and obviously like fast fashion came after
Yeah.
all of that, but it's also like washers and dryers and like things you see that, on the side of the road outside of people's houses. And
Yep.
it's like, oh, I remember we had a house. It was a 1943 little like cottage style. It was a cute little downtown Portland cottage, had like neon numbers outside the house, and it had the original stove from
Nice.
1943. And like
Quite cool.
one burner worked, the rest did not, but like we were determined to,
To
it
make
was the
it
coolest thing to make it work. Yeah.
the
And
rocks.
so, I think we moved in like 2009. So,
Wow.
that's what I would like.
Yeah.
I hate it
Well,
when you buy something like a refrigerator and it's gonna, like, you're like, that's gonna break, that's gonna break,
it's
that's
just
gonna break.
inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it is really sucks. And that's, capitalism's a
and
nightmare.
yeah, it is.
It really is.
And when you
Uh,
see in our house, we have some high ceilings, so changing those light bulbs.
good point. Hazardous.
And weren't you here when all the fire alarms went off?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and like trying to like get up to shut
Mm-hmm.
the yeah, and Mike just like crawled up and like ripped it off. He was so fucking mad, like the
Yeah,
Hulk.
tends to be my attitude whenever like the
Like
alarms go ring
batteries
one of
could
those. It's
last
like
longer,
mother.
right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can completely very strongly relate to that. I love it.
Yeah, that's what I would like.
Okay, yeah, I love it. That's great. That's a few nice ones to end on there, I think. Unless you
Hmm.
have any other ones you would really want to.
No, I mean the basic ones, I wish I could sing.
Yeah.
I wish it was funnier. I wish it was healthier. I wish I had more
Mm.
clothes with pockets.
The eternal, the eternal
Yes.
wish. The
Yes.
eternal wish.
That's the big one, actually.
Yeah, that is it, right? Just all utilicals all the time, Beth, is
I
what I
think
say.
so. I know, I know, I
So many
know.
pockets, so
Yeah.
so useful.
They took that idea and they just ran with it.
They really did, like. Love it. All right. In that case, shall we get on to our last week's section of the podcast,
Yes.
which is what's been bringing you joy this week?
Yes. We had a party.
Ooh,
I know. This is part of the reason I was like, I need stem cells. So we
sure.
had friends fly in from all over the place.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Virginia, New York, or Connecticut, Sacramento and San Diego, and some Washington, D.C. So it's a bunch of friends. One of them was like, we need to do a West Coast tour. And then, so they came here. We had a
Yeah,
sleepover.
nice.
And it's like, like dudes in their like 50s and 60s.
Yeah,
So, it's just fun to see where people end up sleeping.
yeah.
They come out, the kids are like, Greg's asleep on the couch, and it's like 10:30 in the morning. I stayed up till 2:30 in the morning, Andy.
Whoa.
I
Okay. Hell yeah.
know.
Go
I
stem
know.
cells and go
I
you.
know. I know. And it was a blast. They stayed, we swam, we played badminton, we told all the stories, and it was so much fun. And it's just nice. Like, I forget what it's like to be around large groups of people.
Yeah, that rocks.
And it's so, yeah. So just good friends, good times.
Good. No, that sounds
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to hear it.
And I could enjoy it.
Yeah, this is also huge. Like, um, amazing. I love it.
How about you?
What I was thinking about whenever you were talking about having the party was where this, or were you, as you taking stem cells like when Popeye gets spinach?
Yes,
Okay. I think you could like
literally.
squeeze a can of stem cells and like shit them up and cats.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll work on that. Anyway,
And
right.
I eat
Okay.
all the spinach. I'm Popeye the, yes.
Exactly. Um,
Sailor me.
so I have a soppy one, which is what's been bringing me
Soppy?
joy. Soppy.
Okay. Am I gonna cry?
I don't think maybe. My girlfriend's been bringing me joy.
Yay. Me too, actually.
Yeah, she rocks.
I know.
And it's just, good to give her a shout out. So it's been, we've only been dating a short time, but it's been really lovely. And it's just really lovely having somebody who, like, she understands me in a way that it has been tough for me to find in my life, and it
Yeah.
has been really special and wonderful. And yeah, so that's been bringing me a lot of joy, not just this week, but in a lot of the recent weeks. So I kept meaning to shout her out. and then instead just put in like a stupid TV show or something instead.
I like, and I'm watching this TV show, and she's
We're
like,
watching this show. It's like, what?
huh,
God damn
feel like other things are going on that we're doing together.
it.
I
Yes.
was there. We watched
I'm I'm such
it.
so materialistic,
That's
apparently.
lovely.
But yeah,
I will say I know I've wanted this for you,
yes,
and the happiness that it's bringing, it's clear and it's evident.
yes,
So
absolutely. And it
I'm
rocks. It really does.
that's a great thing to be grateful for
I
and to bring you
agree
joy.
completely. Very much so. Love it. Okay.
Does she like the Utilikilt?
Yes, she
There you
does.
go.
But she is trying to steal my poncho. So
Ah,
a mixed bag, you know.
that's true. Okay, yeah.
I she's already stolen a lot of my clothes, and I like, and it's fine, but like I've told her I'm drawing the line in the sand over my poncho. She's not getting it, though she's determined to get it. So we'll see how that plays out over the
It
coming months.
traveled very far
It
to get where it's
really
gotten. It's
did.
had a lot of adventures.
And I have wanted a poncho for so long, and now that I found a poncho that I love, I've told her she's got a tough fight in her hands, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah. All right, Beth, can you tell everybody where they can find us?
Find us at bendypodcast.com, and all over the internet,
Yeah,
on all the
all
places.
over.
We're just everywhere.
We are everywhere. Love it. All right, folks. In that case, as always, we'd like to remind you to
Bendy.
Andy. On the Wish episode, the longest one
I
ever.
know it
That was
was
the thing
so good.
we really wished for was more lung capacity, and we
More lung
got it, everyone. We got
capacities.
it.
Ha ha.
Right, we
Wish on
love
the penny
you.
on my left shoe. Bye. Love you.
Exactly. Bye,
Bye.
bye, bye, bye.